Truth, not tyranny. Truth, not tyranny. Truth, not tyranny. Truth, not tyranny. This is the Lichtman Live post show, the greatest post show that's ever existed on the face of planet Earth. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Wendy Y, for becoming a member. I appreciate that. My top fan right now is Beth Brown. Shout out to Beth Brown. Raul, second, and President Khalidi, our future president, is third. Thank you all. Here we go. Teddy Strongbear. Hello, Blaze. What was fast? And then Monster just says, that was fast. Woot, TNT, baby. TNT. It's dynamite. Beth, it has the number 1 next to your name. You guys can't see that? I can see that. AC/DC. That's right, Teddy. Oh, now Teddy's the number 1 fan. I changed quickly. Usually you take longer to start your show after Allan's. Oh, okay. I guess I beat my normal record. Zeppelin says, I'm number 1. I don't know exactly how they calculate it. I guess I don't know. This is a new feature, so I don't exactly know how they calculate. You've fallen to number 2, Beth. Teddy Strongbear has risen to number 1. Does your dad watch Randy Rainbow songs? No. I don't know for sure, but I don't believe so. Oh, Philip H. with a $2 donation. He says, I'm your number 1 now. Is that true? Let's see. Has he? Yes, Philip H. I guess donations count towards your ranking. Uh-oh. Beth has now fallen to 3rd. Yikes. Sorry, Beth. So the House is currently voting on this bill. I don't know. Let's see. I pulled up. Oh, guess where I pulled it up from? PBS. They are providing live coverage of an important vote. But yeah, let's just cut their funding. Sure. They're all just giving their speeches right now, I guess. Thoughts on Colbert getting canceled? Yeah, that's pretty huge. And not only did Colbert get canceled, but CBS said they're just ending late night. Like there's just not going to be a late night show on CBS anymore. Confusingly, I don't know if that also includes Seth Meyers, because the report I was seeing is that they said that they canceled Late Night with Stephen Colbert, and after 30 plus years of having late night on CBS, it will be no more. I mean, if that isn't a giant red flag for traditional media, I don't know what is. I'm assuming it was just because it doesn't make a lot of money. That's what I'm assuming. They probably honestly make more money from posting content online in this day and age. Like posting clips of Late Night with Colbert on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. I don't know many people who watch. I don't know anybody who watches it live. My mom records it and watches it after the fact, but yeah, I mean, TNT used to have late night, CBS now used to have late night. It's just ABC and NBC now, right? Just Kimmel and Fallon, but the 2 Jimmys are the only ones left standing. Yeah, I think it's just a massive sign that traditional media, cable television, it's not even cable television, it's just regular television is in big trouble. Too many cut the cord. Exactly, Nandine, exactly. Philip says that Colbert is a profitable show and continues to be, but CBS has sold out. What do you mean by that exactly? What happened to Colbert? He's canceled. CBS canceled Late Night with Colbert and just canceled Late Night. They're not replacing it. It's just done. See, that's what I don't understand why you say they sold out, because, you know, if they just didn't want Colbert or something like that, you would assume they would just replace him. But the reports I saw said that they're just ceasing late night on CBS. This is what the New York Times said. I got an email from them earlier today about this. Let's see. Teddy Bear says, I can't name one show that airs on CBS. I don't think I could either. Big Brother, Survivor, but those are both reality shows. Where's this email? Let's see. CBS has said that it is canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and retiring a late night franchise that has existed for more than 3 decades. That's crazy. Again, that doesn't make it clear if Seth Meyers will still be around, if they'll have a late show or not. I'm not sure. Philip says, Colbert Report. It's not the Colbert Report, but Colbert is still profitable. You can see their earnings. They don't want that time slot, which traditionally is used to shit on MAGA. There will be a right-wing show in that slot. Let's bet. I don't think so. Seth is on NBC. Right. They already don't. CBS already doesn't have a late show because it was James Corden, and they dumped him and ended that. Thank you, Trem Hero, for reminding me of that. That's true. So CBS now has no late night, period. Dennis says, wow, 30 years plus and out with a whimper. I know, it's kind of sad. Like, I kind of feel sad about it. I feel like late night has been such an institution in the United States. There's a mosquito flying around here. It's kind of sad. And I like Colbert, you know? Yeah, the end of an era for sure. Since Johnny Carson, yeah. I wonder what Colbert will do next. It'll be, because he's not going to go away. I mean, he's still extremely funny and popular. I'm assuming he'll get a show somewhere else, or maybe he'll do like a mosquito Conan O'Brien, David Letterman thing where he'll move to like less traditional media. Like I know Conan has like a big podcast and David Letterman has that Netflix series, so maybe he'll move on to something like that. Philip says, I just clipped you saying I doubt it so I can remember when the right-wing talking show replaces it. All right, let's go. The Lichtman late night show. Beth, let's make that happen, Beth. Whoever has the power to make that happen, let's make that happen. He likely has a no-compete clause keeping him from doing TV for a certain amount of years, but not if he's canceled. I'm assuming he has that in place so he can't just get up and leave one day. But if they cancel him, I don't think that clause is still valid. Dark Pepsi says, so the Tonight Show on NBC, including Late Night, are still going. Jimmy Kimmel Live is still going. And Last Week Tonight is still going. Correct. But Last Week Tonight, I wouldn't categorize that as late night, personally. Philip says no compete wouldn't apply to another time slot. Diego says no, a no compete in TV is valid no matter what. Okay, I don't know. And Monster says, if I were Colbert, I'd just want to walk away right now and tell him to go F off. He's too much of a stand-up guy to do that. He's not going to do that. Oh, right. Jon Stewart's still on Comedy Central, and The Daily Show is still on Comedy Central. That's late night. Sort of. Not sort of. It's like political late night. Raul says, what did you think about my slogan entry? Raul, there were 160 plus entries, and I did not memorize whose was who. Sorry, brother. The Lichtman late night show sounds great. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. But the issue is traditional media is not gonna, they don't do late night shows anymore. So we'll have to figure out some creative way to do it. Lynette Ray says, Colbert has the talented friends and colleagues and the money to launch multiple entertaining projects. My understanding is that they will keep the show until May 26th. Yes, that is true. It's not over immediately. I think it's at the end of the next season they're ending it or something like that. Do you think the Epstein files are just a distraction from more serious issues like immigration and Medicare? It's a distraction from who? Exactly, do you mean? I think Trump generally wants it to go away. So I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Dark Pepsi says, have I got news for you on CNN as a late night show, but it wouldn't come back till the fall and it's on Saturday night. That's not really a late night show then. CBS and NPR are on the chopping block. I wouldn't be surprised if the regime is going after these shows that are critical of thin-skinned dictator. How would CBS be on the chopping block? I mean, I know they're suing CBS and stuff, which has definitely affected them, but that's corporate media. They don't have any ties to any sort of federal funding. But maybe, look, Trump will find ways to F up stuff that he doesn't like. Susie K is here. Susie K. Everybody loves Susie K now. How's your hair coming back? It's, in my opinion, it's kind of been like an awkward stage right now. Also, just wearing a hat. But it's not terrible. It's growing back fast. I'm sort of getting sick of it at this point of the short hair, but at this point I just gotta wait, you know. So it's growing fast. That's good. That's the good news. But I'm kind of, yeah, that's why I'm wearing a hat. I'm just kind of sick of it being short. Trump's tariffs are mosquito bites to the economy. I think they're bigger than mosquito bites. It isn't spiky anymore. I know. That's why for a while my intro was to rub my spiky hair, but it's not really spiky anymore. So I stopped doing that. You should don a fedora. Come on, bro. You're kidding, right? A fedora. What's the most wild hair I've had? I really haven't had that wild of hair. You like DC United? Yeah. If I was to root for an MLS team, they would be the team I root for. I don't really watch a ton of MLS, though, to be honest. Guys, only 41 likes. 178 people watching, but only 41 likes. Come on, guys. Make sure you like the stream. Am I Dr. Lichtman's son? I am, Kia. Thanks. Hey, we're happy to invite new people at all times. Do I think Colbert will run for president? No, I do not. Sam, do you feel nervous about the future of our country? How do you think you'll be affected the most? Yes, I do feel nervous about the future of our country. I think I'll be affected most, and I'm currently being affected by just the affordability crisis in this country, the climate catastrophes that we're experiencing, etc. Those are the two things on my mind mostly. It's hard to be an MLS fan with the Apple TV deal. Yeah, you need Apple TV to watch MLS, right? Kiko 2028. That's my dog, not Kiki. Kiko. Dennis. No, you're good. You're good. Seems like Hakeem is on the floor right now, giving some speech. I'm guessing they're not going to vote until the wee hours of the morning. That seems to be their agenda these days. Not agenda, but just the way they run things. T-Girl says, if someone in their 20s, the future looks bleak, not going to lie. Yeah, I struggle. I've been struggling with that lately. It does feel a little bit bleak. It feels like the country is, inequality is growing. Affordability is getting worse and worse. Wages aren't keeping up with growth. Less people are benefiting from that growth. It's concerning. And I don't necessarily think all of these things are directly coming from Trump, but he is making them worse, if not exasperating them. I guess that's the same word. Exasperating and making worse are the same, means the same thing, right? Have you been able to get in contact with Bonnie? I haven't heard from Bonnie. I haven't seen Bonnie. Haven't heard from Bonnie. These are bad times, but certainly not the worst of times. That's true. I feel what you're saying, Teddy. America has gotten through worse, I believe. So if Bonnie doesn't show up, will there be a runner-up? No. We have her information. She's the winner. She is getting sent a copy of the book. Matthew Davis says, I'm 41 this year. Little did I know that the 90s was just a great time to live. Sam, are you worried that when the U.S. voted Trump in again, it's opened a Pandora's box of sorts will never reverse? No, I still believe we can reverse the worst of Trump. I still do believe that, which is helping me hold hope. Philip H. says, we live better than 99% of people in history, regardless of what's happening. That's true. But it does feel like in the last 50, 60 years, we were living really well and we've started to decline, which is the concerning part. And Monster says, I just don't see a cult of personality around Vance, though. I hear that, but it seems like if Vance just reinforces the MAGA base's conspiracies, they'll go along with him. It seems like almost they care more about their conspiracies than they do about Trump, which is something I never thought about before. I thought that they were just loyal to Trump, period, no matter what. And they pretty much were until this Epstein stuff came up. Susie K says, I try to take a break from the news because it can be depressing. Absolutely. Take a break from the news. There is plenty of stuff to entertain you with. Amazing books, poetry, go to a museum, watch funny comedy podcasts, watch movies, or there's so much stuff out there. You can find other stuff to watch outside of the news. In the 1970s, things were rough with the economy. Yeah, but that is true. I'm not going to go. I don't have the full data. I'm not going to get into this argument right now. You could watch me play GeoGuessr. That's another thing. Hello, LNS. Have you ever visited the Inland Empire? I think the furthest east I went in Southern California was like, I went to the Renaissance Festival out there, and that's like somewhere in the Inland Empire, but I can't remember. That's the furthest I've been east in the Inland Empire. RM Bell says, learn to play a musical instrument. This freaking mosquito. Learn to play a musical instrument and sew things. Yeah, absolutely. During the pandemic, I taught myself how to play guitar. RM says, why am I another two chatter here? I haven't said a word. I honestly don't know how YouTube is calculating this top fans thing. I'm assuming a lot of it has to do with donations, to be frank. And I'm Sam. Nadine says, in 1975, I traveled across the country for $100 for a month on the Greyhound bus. Yeah. Certainly the 70s had their economic challenges, but I don't think we had the same level of inequality, and we didn't have the heightened affordability crisis we're having now. Do you know our country is asymmetrically polarized, with the Republicans being more extreme than the Democrats? Is that your opinion, or you're saying there's some sort of data to back that up? James says it's the wealthiest were being taxed back then. Very true. True. Susie Garcia is here. LNS became a member. You're a hero and a American hero, LNS. Bells isn't on the leaderboard. Let me see. Oh, that is weird. Annie's Kid is number 2 on the leaderboard. Yeah, there must be some weird glitch. And Trem Hero is number 3. But Philip is number 1 on the leaderboard and number 1 icon next to his name. So you got to talk to YouTube about that. Why are you sick of the short hair? Why am I sick of the short hair? It's just, it's a look. It's a very, not polarizing, that's not the right word. Very distinctive look. I'm just kind of tired of that look. Sam, did you invent YouTube top fans? Yeah, I did. Grow an afro? Did you see my hair before? I do not think I could grow an afro. It looks good now? Okay. RM says, I'm new here, so I've only seen you with it buzzed. Gotcha. James says, I am bald, so don't hate your hair too much. No, I mean, I'm grateful that I have, hair and a hairline, and, doesn't seem to be thinning, knock on wood. But it's just like, I don't know. Honestly, before I put the hat on, it was looking all like chickeny, poofy chicken boy. It actually looks a little bit better now that it's flattened out a little bit from the hat. Hello, Melania. Trump's wife is in the chat. Marilyn Soto says, how does it feel being the son of the man who has correctly predicted every presidential election since 1984, with the exception of the last one? How does it feel? Feels like, man, my dad's a smart guy. I don't really feel pressure from it, no. It would be crazy if Trump's wife was really here. I have to be honest with you, Melania does not strike me as a woman who is on YouTube much. She just doesn't. I just noticed you have gray hair now. I do have some gray hair now. Your dad is someone to be proud of. I am proud of my dad. Do you listen to 88.5 WAMU all the time since I was a small child? Would you wear a feathered mullet? Probably not. Why doesn't your mom ever come on the show? I don't know. You have to ask her. I think she's in the chat, or she was. This poor person, Melania, comes in the chat, and you all are teasing her for having the same name. Okay, she's her own Melania, okay? Who's my favorite YouTuber and what's your favorite channel? My favorite YouTuber is probably Ethan Klein, and I do like his show, H3 Podcast, but it doesn't hit. I have gone recently like a year plus at times not watching it. Just because I feel like they have gone a little bit too drama oriented. They've gone a little bit too celebrity gossipy oriented, and sometimes that's just not my favorite thing to watch. And especially like there was a time when all that Colleen Ballinger stuff was coming out, and it felt like at that time they were like talking about sexual predators like every single day, and I was just like, all right, I don't want to listen to stories about sexual predators every day. Their programming just kind of got off, and I still watch them. Like I've actually recently gotten back into watching them, but even still, sometimes I have to turn it off because I'm like, this is like too much of a drama channel. Do I watch Destiny? I watch Destiny a little bit, not a ton. Ethan's going through a lot personally right now. No, I respect Ethan a lot as a YouTuber, comedian, etc., etc. I just feel like personally, for my own personal taste, his show has leaned too far into the drama side of things. That's just my opinion. I like David Pakman. I like Brian Tyler Cohen. I also watch like comedy stuff. Like I really like Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino. They have like a YouTube podcast called Bad Friends. I'm a fan of theirs. I don't know Adam Mockler that well, to be honest. Oh, I also like I like Ludwig. I'm looking at who I'm subscribed to right now. I like Ludwig. I like a channel called Abroad in Japan. I like Lily Pichu and Michael Reeves. Good Mythical Morning, Bad Friends, Trash Taste, which is kind of like a pop culture podcast. Who else do I got here? Those are probably my favorites, if you know them. Hey, Dad.
Hey, little boy.
Missy says, I'll admit to being a Jubilee fan. I have watched some Jubilee. I'm not a fan of secular talk, no. No, I'm not a fan of Kyle Kulininsky. Kiko, where are you? I have watched Austin City Limits on PBS. I love Austin City Limits. I've never been, but who do you think will run for the Democratic nomination in 28? I think we'll most likely see Gavin Newsom. We'll most likely see Andy Bashir. We'll most likely see Cory Booker. We'll most likely see Buttigieg. I would say those are my certain ones right now. Is PBS really going away? It's not a simple answer. PBS is not going away, especially their more popular shows and their more populated station areas, because they get funding from corporate advertising, they get funding from donations from people like you and me, and they get federal funding. So the more popular shows, the stations that are in bigger metropolitan areas, they'll be able to, they have bigger corporate funding and they'll be able to get donations. What's in big trouble are the more rural, local stations that serve smaller populations. Those are the places that are probably going to vanish. Shapiro and Wes Moore are also people I would put on probably running list. Would I support a Gavin Buttigieg ticket? I mean, I would probably vote for them over whoever I can't imagine any Republican ticket that I would vote for over that. Philip H. says the winner of 28 will be a progressive. I have no doubt. I hope so. I honestly hope so. I do hope so. I know KQED in San Francisco just had a ton of layoffs. Not sure if that's related. I'm not sure if that's related. I mean, the entire public media landscape is going to take a massive hit. You know, whether it's NPR or PBS stations in DC, New York, LA, San Francisco, they're all going to take a hit. But those bigger markets will probably survive. But yeah, there's no doubt that they're probably going to have to, everywhere, they're going to have to downsize a little bit. Can we see Keeks? Yeah, let me get him. Come here, Bubby. Come here. I want to show you the people. He's putting up his leg. He wants his belly rubbed. He's like, I mean, come here. He's like, rub my belly. Come here. Come here. I want to show you to the people. Come here. Come here. Come here. He does not want to come so bad. Come on. He's like, I'm laying in my comfortable bed. Why are you pulling me out? Here he is. Keeks is just a nickname for him, for Kiko. It's not really short for anything. It's just a nickname. He's licking my wrist. Puppy. Thanks for the kisses. Okay. Okay, let's put it back down. Thanks for the kisses, Bubs. Okay. Ugh. Yes, he is very adorable. He's very cute. He's like, now he's just staring at me. He's like, you see him? He's like, why did you do that? What do you want? Why did you disturb me? You can go back to laying down if you want, Bubs. It's spelled Kiko. Pronounced Kiko. Keeks is a nickname. Is he a pure poodle? No, he's actually an Australian Labradoodle. He is a third. I always forget this. Why do I always forget this? Let me look this up. I don't know why I always forget the one breed. He's a third poodle, a third Labrador, and I always forget the third one. I'm not finding the information. Cocker Spaniel. No, a Cocker Spaniel. He's a third Labrador, a third poodle, a third Cocker Spaniel. Was Tim Walz charismatic in your opinion? No. Not in my opinion. He's back in his bed. Yes, he is very loyal. I don't see Walz. He might run. He might. I don't see him doing very well in the primary, though. Sam, after Mamdani's shock win at NYC, I am more inclined to say that AOC is going to win the 28 presidential election. I think she's got a shot. I think going from House of Representatives to president would be quite the leap, but what do I look for when I vote for a president? I look for a person, mostly I lean towards progressive candidates. Like in 2016, I was very torn, but I really liked Bernie Sanders. In 2020, I was kind of over Bernie Sanders, and I was leaning more towards Elizabeth Warren. He must be smart with those breeds. He's too smart, honestly. He knows how to manipulate us, and yeah. AOC needs to wait more and more cycle. Yeah, I hear that. Do I think Mayor Pete could be elected? I think it's possible. I think it's possible. I don't know, though. It does feel like a lot of Americans don't want to vote for a gay man. It does feel like that. Elijah says, I would love to see AOC. Me too, honestly. AOC has no crossover appeal, in my opinion. I don't know if that's true. Wasn't there data showing that people who voted for Trump also voted for AOC in New York? I think she has some in New York, smiley face. Yeah, I get that New York is not necessarily the best sample for the rest of the United States, but still, I think it shows something. I honestly think, I kind of think we'll get a woman before we get a gay man, to be honest. But I also fundamentally do believe that it's really about the candidate. Because probably prior to 2008, I probably would have said, oh, we'll get a woman before we get a black man. But Obama was just such a good candidate. It was hard to deny. Trem Hero says, I think it's about authenticity first and foremost. I agree. Should Obama run again if Trump does? Yes. Is he going to? Even if that happens, is he going to? No. Is that going to happen? I sure hope not. Buttigieg is authentic. I know, and that's why I stopped and said, you know, when I was going, oh, America would vote this before this. My theory is that actually doesn't matter. That the idea that, you know, America will vote for a gay man before a woman, or a woman before a gay man, or a black woman, you know, I don't think any of that actually matters. Obama won because he wasn't Hillary? No, I don't think that's true. I think he won because he was an inspiring candidate. There are some Buttigieg fans in the chat, I see. Do I agree with the fact that Bernie Sanders is a good speaker or just too extreme? I don't think he's that extreme. I mean, his main platform revolves around healthcare, and most developed countries have his stance, so I don't think it's extreme. Trump's second term is basically Bush 43's second term in rerun? I don't think so. I don't think we've ever seen a term like this already. Yeah, I don't think Bernie's going to run. But you never know. That dude is kind of off. I mean, that dude is kind of OD. You know, he's kind of off his rocker in a good way. Like, part of me would not, like, part of me is like, there is no way he's going to run. And then the other part of me is like, dude, Bernie does what he wants when he wants, you know? Hello, Matthew Davis. AOC, I think, is the Obama of the 2020s, says President Khalidi. I'm not sure if I agree with that, because she's already such a polarizing figure, and just the way she rose to power and the way the media treats her, it feels like her come up has been even probably one of the most sort of followed and scrutinized come up in at least in modern political memory. When did I get Kiko? In 2020. He was a pandemic pup. Thomas Payne says, I'm tired for Bernie. That dude doesn't seem tired, though, man. That dude seems to still be going. I mean, he seems maybe a little bit more curmudgeon-y, a little bit more sort of bent over, but he's still running. He's still going. She's only polarizing because she's brilliant and beautiful and she's a woman of color. I don't disagree with that. Taz says Stephen Colbert show's ending and I'm so sad because of it. Me too. We talked about that earlier, Taz. So make sure you go back and watch the full stream. Trump just ordered Pam Bondi to release the grand jury reports of Epstein. Is that true? Oh, that is true. Trump directs... Huh. Trump directs Bondi to release relevant grand jury transcripts in Epstein case. What does that mean exactly? President Trump on Thursday said he was directing Attorney Pam Bondi to release relevant grand jury testimony in the case, a move that comes after supporters pressed the government to produce information. Quote, based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein, I've asked Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony. This scam perpetuated by the Democrats should end right now. I don't even know what he's talking about anymore. Sam, please post the link, the join link. It's not on your page. Is it not? It should be. I'm not a lawyer and I don't really know court that well. So what is that? What is grand jury transcripts exactly? Is that just transcripts from the hearings themselves? Let me see. What are grand jury transcripts? A grand jury transcript is a verbatim written record of the proceedings of a grand jury. These proceedings are typically secret, and the transcript is not automatically available for the public to see. I don't know if this is relevant means documents without his name on it. That's funny. So basically what we're going to get are transcripts from the hearing itself. Yeah, it seems like that. I don't know if that's going to give MAGA what they want. But I guess we'll see. There's not a mod here, T-Girl. It's just me. What do you need? You need a join link? Let me see if I can get that for you. It'll be interesting to see. I can't do it because I am the channel, so I can't. I'm confused now. Yeah, there might only be a join button on the computer. Missy says he will do everything he can to release everything but the list. They want the client list and they won't release that. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if this satisfies them. Judy says grand jury transcript is not what we need released. Yeah. I don't think this is going to make any difference. I think MAGA is still going to be upset. But it might give an out to some right-wing media folks who are pure Trump loyalist like a Charlie Kirk, he might be saying, look, Trump did, it might give him out to say, look, Trump did release stuff, et cetera, et cetera. We're at 77 likes. Can we hit 100? That would mean a lot to me. What about the birthday card? Yeah, that whole birthday card thing was a little sketchy. I don't think the birthday card was fake. I can't imagine the Wall Street Journal would. Yeah. Susie says, I want to believe that the Wall Street Journal has strong evidence to publish something like that. I kind of agree with you. Elijah says, definitely real. They had a guy on CNN the other night who was, I think, maybe like the operations manager for Trump's casino in Vegas. And he said that Epstein and Trump were like, not just, he said, I think this was a direct quote. I think he said, not just friends, but best friends. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Trump did anything wrong, but being best friends with a child sex trafficker is not a good look. With Epstein, Elon, Signalgate, and the recent diagnosis, I think Trump, too, will go down like Warren G. Harding. LNS says, I am sick of Epstein bait, but what? What were you about to say? I'm sick of Epstein bait, too. You know, if people cared as much about Epstein as they did about healthcare and education and affordability and the climate, we'd probably be living in a utopia here in America, you know? Thank you, Jerry. Never dreamed of our country would be in such a mess. Thanks for keeping us up to speed on the truth. KY Strong. Thank you, Jerry. Hasn't even been a year. That's true. Wow. Joss Callanet just donated $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And it's their 5th super chat on my stream. So thank you, Joss. Joss. I really appreciate that. So apparently Skydance is buying Paramount. I did hear about that, and the main guy's a Trumper. Oh, God, I'm not going to pretend it's a shocker Colbert Show is getting canceled. That's an interesting theory. I don't know how true it is, but it's interesting. Thanks, Joss. Now Sam can pay for Sam's GLP-1 shots and medication. Are you saying I'm fat, bro? Chill. What the heck, bro? Why are they canceling late night and CBS? I don't think they provided a reason. What do you have to say about Joe Biden's health and a simple analysis on his legacy so far? I believe his presidency was a good one. He passed a lot of concrete legislation that helped the average American. About his health, I'm not a doctor. I can't really comment on it. I do believe that, holy moly, Jerry Ravenscraft just donated $50. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Judy says Stephen Colbert is too critical of Trump, so it's my opinion CBS sold out. I guess that's a possibility. Biden should have allowed a Democratic primary. Maybe so. But by the time he actually stepped out, it was too late for a real substantive primary. Joss says, traditional television mainstream media is on the way out, period. I think you're right, Joss. Did you read that Trump kept the real FIFA Cup club trophy and the club's got a replica? I know, that's so weird, dude. So strange. Jerry. If Kamala was president right now, what do you think she'd be doing? I don't really know, because I feel like she didn't do a good job of... Now, she did a much better job than Trump did, don't get me wrong, but she didn't do a good job of painting a picture of what her presidency would look like. I think it would basically look like essentially the continuation of Biden, but you never know. Kev says, late here, what I missed. Kev, you got to go back and rewatch the stream, man. You know. Taz says, I think Newsom will be the nomination in 28 because he represents the establishment while AOC represents the middle class and working class. That's certainly a possibility. Even if it may not be true, I think Allan's advice to the Dems trashing Joe Biden was meant to encourage them to grow spines. I don't know what exactly you mean. When did he tell the Dems to trash Joe Biden? I'm not sure what you're saying. If Biden died and Harris continued to the general election after the primary, would you all say there was no primary? That's a tough question. Probably not. But that's also pretty unprecedented, so it's sort of hard to call. Philip says Allan didn't want him to trash Biden. Right, that's what I remember. He was like one of the only ones saying like this is a giant mistake. Because you had establishment Dems saying like we gotta get him out, the polled internal polling, and he's too old, and then you had lefties being like, yeah, they're chopping at the bed like let's get him out, you know? Newsom describes himself as a centrist. Not sure most Dems would want that. Yeah, I mean, personally, I can only speak for myself. He doesn't do a lot for me, personally. He's a corporate Dem. Yeah, I believe he is. Elijah says there was a primary. We voted. You mean in 2020? That is true. And for whatever reason, the left can't swallow that pill. And, you know, they go down their whole rabbit hole. Like, but the DNC and everybody dropped out and all the votes coalesced around. All right, sure. I mean, you know, you can talk about elections and dissect them in 50 different ways. But at the end of the day, you're right. There were like, what, 14, 16 people? And Biden came up on top. That's how elections work. Now, granted that there are clips of Biden saying that, you know, he was going to be a one-term president. And I think criticism of him on that is valid because he did say that and he didn't come through on that promise. I think that was just a stupid thing for him to say in the first place, and I think he shouldn't do. I mean, again, throwing away incumbency is maybe the stupidest thing I've ever seen, at least that I can remember, a party do. Like, incumbency is the strongest thing in politics. And Monster says, Sammy, I'm a loyal subscriber to your dad's channel, but my questions are never answered. I'm better off canceling my subscription and just doing super chats. That's a good question. I don't know why your questions are never answered. So what we do basically is we post a post on the channel. Hey, members, only members can see it. Hey, members, put your questions for today's show. And then someone goes through, gleans that, puts it in a Google Doc from me, and then sort of orders them based off of topic relevancy, how interesting they are, and sometimes put repeats at the bottom. So if you're asking questions that we've answered a lot of before, or sort of like totally random, they might just end up on the bottom of that list. It's just kind of the way we have to do things. I don't think donating will get you to the top of that list any quicker. Because, I mean, every day we don't read donated questions for the same reasons. Maybe they're repeats. Maybe we've talked about them before. Maybe they're kind of random. Maybe they're strange questions. So, I don't know. Yeah, and that's a key. Philip just said that. We do not glean members' questions from the live chat. We glean members' questions from the post that we make prior to each episode. So if you're not putting your questions there, you're not going to make the list at all, or the doc at all, the Google Doc. So that's the first step, is make sure you're there. Have you heard Dean Withers is getting a lot of rec for laying out the facts on what's going on in politics? Dean Withers. Let me see. Is that like skinny blonde kid? Let me see. Yeah, this guy. I'm not the biggest fan of his. The stuff I've seen, he kind of just, he gives into the stereotype of sort of like the young woke guy a little bit too much. And I feel like he's a very easy target for the right and MAGA folks for that reason. I've heard him on some Jubilees and some clips of him, and I don't know. I don't think he's saying anything that's... Nothing that he's ever said has been like, damn, bro, it's just kind of like what you would expect for like, a left-leaning young guy to say. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about it. Maybe I need to explore him more. I don't know. I also have a hard time just answering these questions about people. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, they're people. We all have our flaws. We all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses. And I certainly do too. So I feel weird judging people. I would say this. If you like him, good on you. If you don't, that's cool too. I don't watch a ton of him, but that's just me. But I've seen him around. So he's obviously starting to make his impression on the sort of left-wing online media landscape. Dean Withers brings in $8,000 a week in donations. Good for him, man. I wish I was on that level. I heard in a previous video you said something about potentially working for the DNC. Have you ever worked in politics before? That was just a hypothetical, and I once interned at the Center for American Progress. I think that's the only real political job in politics I've had, actually. Bonnie's here. I'm so excited you all liked my slogan. Finally, Bonnie is in the chat. Bonnie, congratulations. I guess maybe you're finding out now, but you won the contest. Shout out to you. Bonnie, are you finding this out right now that you won the contest, or did you know it when it happened? Beth Brown says, in my 20s, I was pretty apathetic. Good for the young, involved people. I agree with you, Bonnie. We're 5 likes away from 100. 5. They're still going on their late night vibe. Probably get a vote at like 1 a.m. Thank you, Dark Pepsi. I appreciate that sentiment. What do you think are Pete's chances in 28? I would say, like, to win the presidency or to be nominated for the Dems. I would say to be nominated for the Dems, I give him maybe like a 15% chance. To win, maybe 7. And that's from my current perspective. A lot can change in, between now and 2028. But if I was to guess, that would be my guess. At least Dean Withers is trying to do good and like you getting started, and he's a young guy. I agree with you. And that's why I don't like talking about people, because just his effort alone is admirable. So I don't like giving my opinion on human beings. Did we hit 100 likes? Mine says 99. We're 1 away. Interesting how Beto fell to the side. Yeah, there was at one point people thought Beto was going to, be the nominee. And that crashed and burned real quick. America is not going to Buttigieg. I mean, I agree with you. My percentages were pretty low. But it's hard to give anybody a high percentage at this point. We're so far away, and so much can change from now till then. Thank you, T-Girl. Bonnie says, I found out a bit later that evening. I tried to message, but I think it failed. Hope you get the emails I sent in response to the notification emails your staff sent. I haven't seen any emails, but I also don't check our channel email very often. That's mostly the folks who work behind the scenes who use that. Was Downton Abbey a PBS show? That alone should convince you to keep their funding. Downton Abbey is such a good show. We hit 100 likes. Let's go, 101. Let's go. It was licensed to PBS, right? It was originally some sort of British show. I feel like it's a show that not a lot of people talk about, Downton Abbey, but I feel like that's a show that's up in like a top 10 shows of all time. Like that's up there with, in my opinion, like Mad Men and Breaking Bad and Sopranos, and Downton Abbey is really good. The movie's not so much, the show I'm talking about. Susie K says, I watched it like 3 times, obsessed. I need to go back and watch it. I haven't watched it in a long time. How about no more fools as a slogan? I don't mind that. No more fools. I don't know. You had to put it. You didn't put it in the contest, so we'll never know. Obama was a master orator. Just don't see that much anymore. Yeah, that's a fair point. Country over cults. That's a good one. Veronica just says, Sam, you are an inspiration. Keep going strong. We will keep following you. Thank you, Veronica. That means a lot, honestly. I still don't know exactly how I want to present myself online. I'm still trying to figure that out, and I'm struggling a bit on that. But I'm trying to take it step by step and real life things get in the way. I have to make money. I have to, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Josh says Downton Abbey was first class quality fare. Absolutely, I agree with you. Two Girl says you're doing it right now. That's true. That is true. I am doing it right now. Did I watch The Handmaid's Tale? No, I don't have Hulu, so I've missed a lot of Hulu stuff. So I never saw The Handmaid's Tale. What's my job when the cameras are off? Well, I used to work for the FAA, and then I got doged. So since then, I have mostly been working on YouTube, my dad's channel, my own channel, and then I have been doing some freelance stuff for DW, which is a German public news broadcast. See, they know how to protect their public news. I mean, if you look at DW, if you look at BBC, I mean, these media outlets are of great service to their countries. And there's no doubt that entities like the BBC have helped Britain in general. But for some reason, the right wing in America don't see that. I'm an exotic dancer. That's correct. And actually, I know I've shared this with some of you, but I don't even know why I still have this going. I recently was working on a documentary. Here it is. A History of Conflict, Trump's Impact on Native American Communities. It was released by DW 2 days ago, and it's already almost to 200,000 views. So pretty happy with that, TBH. And if you haven't watched this yet, I would strongly recommend it. I'll put it in the chat, the link to it. Has your ex-job paid you severance pay fully? So far, yes. I have to give them credit. I have gotten I took a deal from Doge, and they have kept paying me, so that's good. Thanks for following me on IG. Yeah, also, if you want to keep up or see what's up. I mean, I don't post a lot on IG, but other than YouTube, it's probably the second most frequent platform I use, or Blue Sky. Give us a little dance? What do you mean? Thanks for following me on IG, Blaze. At Sammy Licht on IG. And what am I on Blue Sky? I forget. I'm also Sammy Licht on Blue Sky. I haven't posted in 15 days. I don't know, man. I don't know. Sometimes maybe I should be more active on social media, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. Sometimes I find social media sort of, I don't know. I just don't like it that much. It feels depressing, and I don't know. But that's my whole point, is I'm trying to figure out, who am I? What do I want to produce? Who do I want to be? Et cetera, et cetera. Social media is often draining sometimes. Yeah, definitely. And I prefer this sort of YouTube live chat. I feel it feels more real. It feels more like I'm actually connecting with people and talking with people. But I'm also, I mean, to be honest, I haven't been doing this consistently either. And, again, I'm trying to figure that out as well. JD Vance. God damn, that mosquito just buzzed in my ear. JD Vance joined Blue Sky. Is that true? Fuck it. Get away. There's no way JD Vance. Oh, is he? Huh. That's interesting. Just a troll? I mean, it seems like he's really posting on it. I mean, obviously, I heard about this one. This is obviously a troll. What a cuck, dude. Like, be more of a fucking cuck. I'm sorry, but like, I don't like to use that language, but I'm sorry. Thank you, E.C. Leclerc, for following me. Deutsche Welle is great. Yes, they are great. I really like working with them a lot. Dark Pepsi says, no apologies, Sam, because I also feel the same frustration. Thank you, Dark Pepsi. All right. What did I do at the FAA? I worked in public affairs and communications. All right. I think with that, I will sign off for the evening. I'll try to get on this weekend, maybe play some GeoGuessr, maybe have some fun, chill streams. But I appreciate every single one of you greatly. Big shout out to Jerry for the $50 donation and Joss for the $20 donation. LS and Wendy Y for becoming members, and Philip H for always supporting and donating today. Hi, The Mixer. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, make sure you check out all the live streams from tonight. Make sure you're all caught up. Thank you all. I salute you.